Welcome back, everyone, to Open Line. Glad you're with us. We are talking with Representative Vincent Dixie, Democrat from Nashville. We asked some Republicans to come on. They were unable to. The topic is, should students be stopped from kneeling during the National Anthem? We're talking about college students at public universities. Republicans sent a letter to the presidents and chancellors of all public universities in Tennessee saying, come up with some sort of policy that will prevent your student athletes from kneeling during the National Anthem. And we have a bunch of calls. Hopefully it can be a discussion about, I guess, bigger issues and everything. But let's just go back to our calls here. Let's go to Leon. Hello, Leon.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. Go right ahead.
Good. Yes. I would just want to say that the legislature is full of white supremacists. And when you have a legislation that's systematically racist already, they have a problem anytime any black people have anything to say about the suffering that's going on. They don't have a problem with the domestic terrorists that went to Washington, D.C. and did everything that they could, defecated and urinated on the floors. But everybody wants to say they're good people. And we all know that the Republican Party in Nashville, Tennessee is in love with Donald Trump. So if you're in love with Donald Trump, you're a racist yourself, more than likely. And nobody's been radicalized. These people were raised this way. You get that from your grandmama and your granddaddy and your great-granddaddy and your great-great-granddaddy. It's not like they was seen something and got radicalized. They've been taught this, and when you've been taught to act this way, you have a problem anytime anybody says anything about their suffering. They could be feeding people now, taking care of folks, but they too busy getting drunk at home, I guess, at night and coming up with nothing better to do than to try to make these kids stop protesting. But these kids need to, the moment that they try to make them stop protesting, they need to, every nationwide need to stop playing basketball around here.
Okay. All right, Leon.
How much money the community, we'll see how much money the college makes then.
Okay. All right, Leon, thank you. Thank you for your call. Passionate subject, Leon, passionate points of view, saying some big stuff there, but what's your comment to Leon's call?
Leon gave us a lot to chew on right there. But what happens? I think one thing that I want to go back and start with, Leon, you're right. We have to change the people in that room, right? One thing that Mr. Hall didn't say during my introduction, I'm also the House Democratic House Caucus Chairman, which means that part of my duties is how do I increase the Democratic membership? How do I get more Democrats elected across Tennessee, right? That is my job. And I'm going to need people like you, all the grassroots organizations, in order to get behind us to do some things that we've never done before, in order to get people to the polls, to change the people in that room, to have more of a point of view that's for all people instead of just one select view. So we have to make sure that and I want to go back to what you said about the laws that we see. When we see some of the laws are punitive, they're punishment. If you don't like what they do, then they'll make a law against it. For instance, with Chancellor Ellen Hobbs Lyle right now, they doing something that's unprecedented about trying to recall a judge for just doing her job. And that is very dangerous. That's why we have separate branches of government. I do agree with Mr. Leon that we do have to figure out a way to change the people in that room. And the way that we're going to do that is that we're going to have to come together. We're going to have to get some like-minded people that haven't voted or that have just been upset or just so turned off by the party and the politics and realize that, hey, we got to really come together. And it's not about black, white, Democratic, Republican. It's just that I want my life to be better. How can I provide for my family? And that's what we need to do.
Okay. Let's go to John. Hello, John.
Yeah.
John, yes, go right ahead.
Oh, yeah, I just wanted to comment and say, we had lawmakers like Terry Lynn Weaver that were at the Capitol during the insurrection, where people actually disrespected the flag in our country. The police with the flag, nothing from the GOP calling out their members for their actions. She was there denied that there was violence and said it was a epic and historic day. But then they suddenly want to write an incentive letter about how and where and why and how to protest. The fact that they think they have the moral high ground to be commented on this is wild to me. This is a distraction from their lack of integrity. They got people like Joey Hensley and David Byrd still in their party. Like, come on, man. Like, they need to be worried about their FBI investigation. And, the supermajority in our state is hurting us.
Okay. All right, John, thank you.
I agree with John. I think that this is one of those things that where I said we find solutions to problems that we don't have. We did have a member that participated fully. I wouldn't say fully, but she was there in whatever it was. She had a right to be there, right? She has a right to be there, and that's her right. But you have to deal with the consequences that come back with it, and that was the ultimate disrespect of our flag and democracy. And so we have to. And I haven't seen them denounce her. I haven't said anything to her. I haven't seen her having them write a letter to her or put it out there saying, "Hey, we don't even agree with what you did." But it's just, all right, well, that was her right. We'll let it go. But as soon as some black kids, the majority of that team were black, and as soon as they expressed their opinion, we had a lot of problems. I had a gentleman that we on Twitter, we were kind of going back and forth. And we had a really good conversation back and forth. And then maybe about 10 tweets into it, he was like, "I'm a 66-year-old white man and I live in Virginia, but I agree with what you're saying." So we talked a little bit more. And he was like, "My son-in-law is the basketball coach for East Tennessee State University." And he's like, but so I was like, but we just kept going back and forth, but we got to a common ground. And he was like, "I'm just embarrassed." He said, "I want to go see my son. I like to go to his games." And he said, I fully support him 100%. And I think that we have to, that gives me hope. But I was giving him hope, and because as a 66-year-old white man, he was losing hope. And I'm like, that's not what we're supposed to be. I believe that we can do better. I believe we want to do better. People like John and Leon, you're passionate about it. And I think that there is a common ground that we can all get together and build on this. But we have to make sure it starts with, leadership matters. And we have to make sure we get the right leadership in place so we don't see these punitive laws and this retribution because you don't like the way something is done, or we rule against you. So if we don't like what you do, we're going to make some kind of law in order to punish you
or defund you. That may be one of the few long Twitter conversations that ended with hopefulness. So that's encouraging. Right. That right there is encouraging. Okay, I'm being told we have to take a break. All right, the next one, I'm going to go to Barry, and I think Joshua. So hold on. We'll take a break. Be back right after this.